4 hours. I want to tell you about 4 hours of my life that I will never get back. And this happened a few months ago. Imagine a hotel room in London. Tiny, dark, and I'm sitting with my laptop open. I have a cup of coffee with me, which is empty. It's the 6th coffee of the day, by the way. And I'm preparing a demo for the next day. I wanted to create a demo for something called Google ADK, which is Google's Agent Development Kit. And I wanted to specifically show an example with RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. How many of you know what I am talking about? Well, it actually doesn't matter. What matters is I wanted it to look super impressive among the developers that I was about to present in front of. So I decided I would not run all of this on my laptop. That would be not so cool. I decided I would build a really nice user interface. I would deploy the front end on Firebase hosting. I would deploy the back end on Google Cloud Run. I would cross-wire these two Google Cloud projects. I would set up permissions using service account and make everything production ready. Why? Because I'm a senior developer, and this is what senior developers do. And during all of this time, I had AI helping me. Claude Code, Gemini CLI, MCP servers, the whole orchestra. Every time I hit an error, the AI generated a fix. Every time the fix broke something else, the AI generated another fix. It was super interesting how things were flowing there. So I got a bunch of errors. Permission denied, tokens expired, the service accounts not working with each other. And there were so many errors going on through that duration, and that's 4 hours, and I'm not exaggerating. It's 1 a.m. in the morning, I'm on my 6th coffee, and I'm battling with this vicious loop. Generate, paste, deploy, fail, and then repeat. And then I sat back on my chair and I realized something so simple that it physically hurt. I did not need any of this at all. All I needed was 3 letters, 1 word, and a single dot on my terminal. ADK web dot. And that's it. This is something that is built in with Google's Agent Development Kit. And for 4 hours, I was trying to build it myself from scratch. The fun part is that the AI has been helping me throughout. I was trying to find a solution for a problem that I did not have. And together with AI, we have come up with this magnificent answer that nobody actually asked. So, one of the things that I know you might be thinking so far from this story is, how does a senior developer waste 4 hours like that? And trust me when I say this, I was asking the same question myself even a week after. But honestly, I want to show you the other side as well, because you in this room deserve honesty. I'm not here to say AI is bad. That's not what I'm here for. AI has genuinely given me superpowers. A few weeks ago, my blog got hacked. On Thursday morning, I see my blog. I go there and I see that all the posts are gone. There's just one post with a super fishy post pointing to somesite.cc and saying that you get a $5,000 when you go there. Years of my writings on my blog gone. 2,000 plus subscribers gone. And I recovered all of that with AI. I went through a file that I mistakenly found on the local storage. I went through something called web archives, which are public archives of the pages that are shipped whenever. And I could recover all the public posts. Then I also hooked an MCP server with my Gmail to recover all of the newsletters I've sent to my subscribers, because I myself was a subscriber of my own blog. Weeks of work done in one evening. That is real. And that is what AI has given us. I also migrated my whole courses platform. As Alex mentioned, I run a blog, but I also run multiple platforms where I have free courses for developers. And I was paying for a content management system $6 a month that I migrated from just in a couple of hours to a file-based system saving $6 a month. So I'm not rich, by the way, if you're imagining. But it gives me sovereignty. It gives me control of what I can do with it. I also wrote a book this year. And this is my 4th book, by the way. My first book took 1 year to write, to get edited, and to be shipped and published throughout. We sold 5,000 copies. It has a 4.3 star rating out of 5 on Amazon. But this one, including an AI companion app with quizzes, with challenges, was shipped in just 3 months. AI did not write the book, by the way. The thinking was still mine. But the output came out 3 times faster. And trust me when I say this, the barrier to building and shipping has never been lower in my life. But as the gate has been lowered, there's something fun happening as well. As the gate has been kicked so fast, and you go to the other side, you see that the price behind the gate is also now shrinking. And I also built an agent, a marketing agent called Alkhwarizmi. I'm going to talk about that in just a bit. And all of this is because AI has made things possible for us. In the 9th century, in Baghdad, in a place called the House of Wisdom, there was a mathematician, a Persian mathematician called Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. He worked on algebra, he worked on astronomy, and also geography. When his work got translated into Latin, his name got mangled into one single word. And that word is algorithm. So every algorithm you have used ever, every recommendation system, every Google search, every trading bot, every model you have ever prompted carry his name. So he has been working for you your whole life. You just did not know it. And I named my marketing agent on his name because I am really bad at marketing. I don't know how to do it. And I find it genuinely hard. So I built an agent using OpenClaw, some of you might have heard. So I can talk to it from my phone using Telegram. And it helps me position my work. It helps me write hooks. It also helps me understand my audience. And frankly, it has been more patient with me than most humans. Now coming back to the things that I've shipped so far. I have a bunch of software that I've shown across conferences that have impressed CEOs, developers, marketing managers, and whatnot. But my personal projects, let's say if there are dozens of them, many of them don't even have 100 users. Some of them even have 9. I built them fast, and I shipped them. They work fine. They're production ready, no security flaws, but they're not really finding their audience at all. However, I've built something that's not like this. It's a community platform. It's called Code with Ahsan, and as I'm talking to you right now, just under 4,000 developers use it every day. They're mentors on the platform. They're mentees on the platform. They're people whose careers have been measurably changed because of it. And the strange thing is that the same AI that helped me build the other dozen projects is the same that has helped me build this one. So it's not the AI that is the difference. So what's the gap here? The gap that I could think of, and I call this the thinking gap, which is what I'm going to talk in just a bit about. The dozen projects that I built them fast. I had an idea, I shipped it, and when you're working, with your coffee and you're super ambitious about something, you just build it, ship it, and you move on. The one that worked was a bit different. I built this one slowly. Before I built this platform, I was already having a community for years. I knew what people needed. I knew what they kept asking me about. And I also had an idea of the shape of the problem before even writing a single line of code. So what was the difference? The difference was not AI. The difference was that I had crossed that thinking gap that I mentioned. Because in the past 12 years, not 12 years, 12 months, I've shipped more than the past 5 years combined. And as I mentioned to you, AI has given me superpowers. So that should have been honestly the end of this talk. I've shipped more than I ever could have. The future is bright. Thank you. Good night. But that's not what I'm here for. Because beneath all of this, there's something that I could not see for over a year. And once I saw it, I could not unsee it. In 2025, Stack Overflow ran a developer survey. And the developer survey showed that about 84% of the developers said that they use or plan to use AI tools. That was an increase from 76% from the year before. And that is the line that every company, everyone repeats. Here's the line nobody repeats. In the same developer survey, developers who actually trust AI has been 29%. And this is a drop from 40% from the year before. So, we are working with AI more. We're shipping less. Sorry, we're working with AI more, we're trusting it less. We're shipping with the less trust more. And the demand for those software is essentially being lower. So the use of AI is up, the trust is down, the output is up, and the demand for that output or the piece of software is essentially down. And that is genuinely what I wanted to talk about here, on why that is. Now coming back to those 4 hours that I mentioned. But before I go there, I wanted to talk about Andrej Karpathy. How many of you know this person? Okay, I see 9, 10 people, good. So Andrej Karpathy, who runs in much bigger circles than I do, recently said, he's an influential voice on Twitter, he said that the limiting factor of software development today is not coding skills. It's actually the clarity of thought. And I agree with what he's saying. Because in general, if you look at how developers are becoming today, developers are becoming more like orchestrators. They're someone who specify the requirements. They're someone who review the code. They're also someone who decide the flow of what the AI is supposed to do. And it's super funny when you think about it that today, a 19-year-old in Stockholm or in Karachi or anywhere in the world can just ship something in a weekend. A designer with no engineering background can build a prototype with AI in an afternoon. A non-native English speaker today can write professional documentation which opens so many doors that were not open before. So the question, because of all of this, stops being, can you build it? And it shifts to something else. With all of what's going on with AI and what Andrej said, I've come to the conclusion that the typing, it has been automated. But the thinking has not. And this is where I get a bit more hopeful, but also a bit scared at the same time. Because if the question, or the most valuable thing right now, is thinking, then the question that everybody in this room should be asking, and what I ask myself as well, is that, are you actually thinking, or are you just typing faster? Because those 4 hours I was just typing faster. I was not really thinking clearly what I should have been doing. Because the thinking could have taken just 30 seconds. The question was, what kind of demo did I need to build? What did it require? And that is the exact question I never asked. There is a term that's sort of emerging in my world, and that's called context engineering. How many of you know what that is? One hand, ooh, okay. It sounds technical, it's not really. Context engineering is the practice of being very, very deliberate about putting the right information in front of an intelligent system before you ask it anything at all. What does it know? What the goal is? What are the constraints? What does success look like? Because if you do that clearly, then the AI or the intelligent system gives you an output that's useful. And if you don't, then it gives you 4 hours of perfectly generated garbage that nobody wants to use. So I want to not leave you tonight with an answer because I don't have one. I have created things that almost no one uses. I've also created software that thousands of developers are using. And I've created libraries before AI that have millions and millions of installs, and I would say thousands of GitHub projects using them as well. The question is not now, can you build it? The question is, what is worth building? I am the first speaker today, and there are amazing people coming after me as well. You will hear about things like how innovation gets funded. You'll also hear about who gets to have a voice in the systems that we build. And I am not here to tell you how to think about any of that. I'm here as a developer who got to sit in front of these tools that we are talking about and seeing and learning things the hard way. Because the question is not now, can you build something? If anyone in this room can build anything, almost anything this weekend, then the question becomes, what is worth building? Why are we building it? Is it really worth building? Should it exist? And who is it really for? Do we already have an audience for the thing that we are building right now? Because the fun part is that AI is so good at executing on a request that it will execute on the wrong request beautifully for hours until you let it. It will not ask you, Ahsan, what you're creating right now, the demo, does it really need 2 cloud projects for a 5 minutes demo? It won't do it. So in general, AI will not stop you, it will not slow you down, but it will not also tell you what is worth building. That part, it is still ours to think. Because I don't think AI has been able to do it, and I don't think that it will ever be able to make you stop and think, what am I actually doing right now? Am I going the right direction? Because it's not built to do so. In the end, I think it's quite prominent that the typing has been automated, but the thinking has not.